things that can get me fired from my correctional officer job. Now, some of these things are very blatant, and when we catch you doing it, we don't even want you in our criminal justice system anyway. But some of these things are mistakes, misjudgment, a wrong decision. So we want to talk about them and get it out there so you don't do these things. We want you to stay with us. We put money into you. We put you into the through the academy. We've trained you at the prison or the jail, and we want you to stay with us. We want you to stay aboard. We want you to have a good career and hopefully get to the end of the rainbow and get that retirement check every month. So let's start out, not in any particular order, with 10 things that can get you fired. And the first one I'm going to start with today is sending or leaking official documents or videos to the news media. Starting with that one because that just happened here recently. Now, two wrongs don't make a right. If you think you see something wrong in a use of force, let's say for example, and you think the agency did not investigate that issue, you still don't send these things to the media. Well, number one, your agency has a policy and procedure. Every agency has a public information officer or a public affairs office. They are the ones that speak to the media. I know that the sheriff's department I just retired from is very, very strict. The public information officer or the sheriff or his designee is the one who talks to the media. Not the officers, okay? Not the captains, not the lieutenants, not the sergeants. No, that's why we have a public information officer. Now, do you think something was done wrong? And on the other hand, your agency says it is your duty to report a crime? Well, yes, see, there's two sides of this, but you have to do it correctly. If you see something that you think is a crime, you have several avenues. Write an incident report and turn it in. If you feel your chain of command is involved in this issue, there are hotlines you can call. For example, in Florida, you can call the hotline in the central office in Tallahassee. But don't get a hold of the use of force video and leak it out to the media. Now you've got some issues. You've got some problems. Okay? Please don't do that. If you don't want to use the hotline, we have had people in Florida, a prime example a few years back, go to FDLE, the law enforcement of law enforcement, as we call them here in Florida, report to them, and things have happened, okay? Things have come out of that. But I'd rather you go to the hotline, or in our case here in Florida, if you don't want to go to the hotline because you think it's an interagency cover-up, for better use of words, go to FDLE, but I sure would rather you do that than leak it out to the media, okay? Second thing is cowardice. An inmate or inmates attacking an officer, and you run for help. Yes, there's an actual charge for cowardice, administratively, and it can be criminally if you fail to act and help a fellow officer in trouble. Cowardice is a big one on my list. I just can't stand it. When an officer's in trouble and it's 10-1, you make it 10-2. You call for backup. Here's your radio. Call for backup as you're running to help or assist your fellow officer. Very easy. We need assistance in Dorm H. We have inmates, attacking an officer. I'm here. Please send assistance. This is one of those situations where you don't wait for backup to arrive, okay? There are some times when all officers are out of the area and there's a big fight going on. Wait for your backup to arrive and don't rush in. But when a fellow officer is in distress or a fellow officer is in trouble, we call as we run to help that officer. Now we're going to make it 10-2, and we're going to fight like hell to protect ourselves until backup gets there, okay? Another one that will get you in trouble, falsifying official documents, incident reports, timesheets, sworn affidavits, lying during an investigation. Any of these, falsifying use of force reports, any of these things, if you are caught twisting the truth, however you want to call it, I just twisted the truth a little bit. Hey, it's still considered falsifying an official document. That is a crime. It can be a third-degree felony. It can be dropped to a misdemeanor. Come on, folks. Just tell the truth. The truth will prevail. And in Florida, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement says we lose more officers for lying on an official document than over the incident itself. See, tell the truth and you can come out of this. You may get a few days on the porch, but isn't that better than losing your job for falsifying an official document? Here's a no-brainer. Sex with inmates. We don't want you. If you're going to have sex with inmates, we need to file criminal charges on you, and we need to arrest you. Enough said on that one, right? Really? But that is one of the 10 things that will get you fired, and it does happen. Here's another one. Fighting with coworkers at work. Verbally chewing each other out, making a scene at work, or fighting. Now, we have had officers fist fight when I was in the state prison system over a female officer, and vice versa. 2 females fighting over a male officer. Please, come on. This is ridiculous. This is not a drama place. This is our workplace. Keep your private issues on the street. We've had officers go to another officer's house off duty and threaten the other officer with physical harm, and they've lost their jobs. We've had, even in the jail, a couple of male officers fist fight in the hallway over another officer. Please, keep this drama at home. This isn't whatever that stuff is. I don't even watch a reality TV where everybody's fighting over something, you know. This is not the place for it. And you can lose your job over fighting with coworkers physically or verbally. Okay? Keep it professional, folks. Another no-brainer, but it happens. That's what this leaked video was about that we talked on our first issue. Physical abuse of inmates. Don't do it, folks. Stay in compliance. Don't let the anger cause you to overcompensate and do something that'll get you caught on video when you're not a bad person. The inmates, you know, they will push you to the limit. They will resist, they will kick, they will spit, they will bite, they will do these things. But once you have the inmate down, don't throw punches, folks. Especially if they're handcuffed or have leg shackles on. It's just, there's no need for it. And you won't get caught up in a dilemma. Okay, that's what I call a dilemma. Now it might be investigated. You may be totally justified in the end. Let's hope you are. But somebody else may see it different, and it needs to be checked out. And we don't want you to lose your job over that one extra punch, that anger. Don't let it get you. Don't let the inmates cause you to lose your job, okay? All right? Another one is excessive tardiness or excessive misuse of your sick leave or annual leave. You know, if you're sick, fine, you're going to get a doctor's notice on that to cover you. If you have annual leave and you're allowed to take it, well, that shouldn't be a problem. But don't misuse it, and then when you're asked about why you were out so many days, you have nothing to back it up, folks. You got nothing from a doctor. You have nothing to show for it. You don't have any approval for taking the absence. That could get you fired. Excessive tardiness can get you fired. You're late to work a lot. And then you start to get written up for it and written up and written up. Well, after a while, your supervisors are going to be tired of writing you up for excessive tardiness. And it's going to go up the chain of command, and it could result in termination of your job. Please don't let that happen. Misuse of social media, man, this has gotten a lot of people, especially over the last few years. You think, wait a minute, I'm off duty. That's my Facebook. That's my Twitter. I can do what I want. Well, folks, when you work for a state agency or a county agency and you're a law enforcement officer, you are really representing the agency 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you like that or not or believe that or not. So if you put on your social media, Facebook, that inmate should have his ass kicked. I would have beat his ass. That can follow you back to work, folks. That statement can follow you back to work, and your agency can investigate it, and they can do as they wish with you. We've seen it happen where people have made statements like this in the last few years, and several officers have lost their job. Yes, it's your Facebook. Yes, you're off duty, but some of the things you say represent what you do for a living. Please watch your social media. Don't let it get you caught up in a situation where you find yourself trying to answer questions during an internal investigation of why did you put that on your social media. And don't blame the investigator who's asking you the questions. Your agency is the one that reported it and set it up for investigation. Blame yourself. You're the one that said it. Don't do it. Don't blame others for the mistakes you make. That's one thing that always gets me. Everybody else is blamed for something that you did. Be smart. Work smart. Be professional. And you won't even have to worry about being caught up in these situations. Failure to report a crime. Is that a crime? It can be. It can be a misdemeanor. Failure to report. You saw something happen and you failed to report it. But report it properly. Don't leak stuff to the media. Report it on an incident report through your chain of command. Report it on your agency's hotline that they've set up for these things, for these purposes. But don't get caught on the other end of the investigation for failure to report a crime. It's not worth it. Don't cover up for people who are committing crimes. Save yourself. If they were dumb enough to commit a crime on duty, that's their problem. Let them answer for what they did. But don't you overlook reporting a crime and then get caught up being investigated for a crime yourself. It's not worth it. We want you to stay. We want you to complete your career. Okay? And number 10, last but not least, self-explanatory, bringing contraband to inmates. We don't want you in the criminal justice system if you're going to bring contraband to inmates. No brainer. We need to arrest you. We need to file criminal charges on you. We need to throw you away, okay? We need to put you in jail. Right here in my county, our sheriff has caught a few. We've been pretty good here at the county jail of not having these issues, but every now and then somebody gets stupid and brings something to an inmate and they get caught. They get put in isolation cells right up by the control room in the jail that they work in. That's what needs to be done with somebody who brings contraband to inmates. There's a lot of other things out there, but folks, I hope this can open up your eyes. Be smart. Work smart, work professional. Don't get caught up in these games. Don't get caught up in these social media games, these inter-agency love relationships where people are getting mad at each other, things that I've just talked about here. To sum it up, be professional, come to work, do your job, go home, and keep all the drama at home. Thank you very much. Gary York, True Prison Stories.